Chris Massey, and welcome to the Chris Massey Show here on the American Hearts Radio Network. We're coming to you live tonight from our studio here in downtown Atlanta. So glad you can all be with us, and we're all enjoying this great spring weather. Of course, we will have a little bit of a blackberry winter, I'm sure, before April gets out of here, but today was awfully pretty in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, in the news, this just came in yesterday. Yesterday, Ted Cruz announced that he is running for president of the United States.
Chris, what the hell are you doing? Hey! What is so funny? Are you alright? Can you keep going? We got stuff to do here.
Yeah, I'm good.
Alright.
Good. Chris is ready for president. We'll be right back. Good.
You're watching the Chris Massey Music Show. And by the way, I'm Johnny Van Zant, Leonard Skinner.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. If I offended any of you Ted Cruz supporters, well, I was trying to. Okay. All right. So, you know, I get a lot of, wow, I almost messed my glasses up. I get a lot of remarks from people that tell me all the time. They say, Chris, you know, you're trying to make it in the music business, and your liberal views are really handicapping you, because as we all know, conservative people, when they get pissed off, when they find out somebody's liberal, they boycott them. Well, let me tell you something. If you're one of those people out there and you do not buy art because you disagree with their political view of the person, you know, that's really kind of sad. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I think that Ted Nugent is one of the biggest nutcases out there, but you're not getting stranglehold off of my iPod. It's not happening. So here's the deal. If you're going to be that rigid, you know, and not support people because they'd have different political views, well, here's some other things that some of you conservative people need to do. First thing you need to do is this. You need to quit reading all newspapers and magazines, because all journalists tend to be liberal. You need to quit watching TV, all except for the Fox News Network and the religious channels. And all the movies that you watch, you can pretty much quit watching those too, except for the Clint Eastwood movies. And let me just remind you, those early Clint Eastwood movies, spaghetti westerns, Dirty Harry, he was a liberal back then. You can quit listening to Christian music too, because let me tell you something. Christian music is played by musicians, not Christians. All right. The other thing that you can do is you're going to have a hard time finding a place to buy food. I mean, when you go to the grocery store, all that produce in there is picked by illegal aliens, and then all grocery stores take food stamps. So that's going to be kind of hard on you as well. That computer that you like so much, throw it out the window. It was created by liberals. That is correct. But don't feel bad. There's still some things you can do. You can still go to your KKK meetings. You can attend the Baptist church. You can go to your anti-gay rallies. You can go protest against abortion. You can still not believe in climate change. You can drive your car. You can smoke cigarettes. You can eat fast food. And you can shop at Walmart. But you're kind of crossing the line there, because Walmart does accept $6 billion from American taxpayers to help pay their payroll. That's correct. I got a great show tonight. Brian Stevens from Bonzo Tune Studio is here, plus an episode of the Hippy Dippy Classic Album Review with Rachel Jordon. We'll be right back. Stick around.
Are you looking for a great night out? Are you in the Atlanta, Georgia area? Are you looking to check out some live, awesome music during the week? They have keynote, poker tournaments, horseshoes, and special events. It's all at the Moon Shadow Tavern. That's at 3976 Lawrenceville Highway in Tucker, Georgia. That's the Moon Shadow Tavern. Give them a call. 670-674-2133. Check out their selection of great food, friendly service. Visit their website at msttucker.com. That's www.msttucker.com. Moon Shadow Tavern is a proud sponsor of the Chris Massey Web TV Music Show on www.americanheartsradio.com. Make sure you told them that American Hearts Radio sent you. Visit their website, check out their great selection of food, appetizers, wings, burgers, sandwiches and wraps, steaks and chicken, salads and sides. Also their drink specials. Live music during the week. Check them out. Give them a call, 770-674-2133.
It's Leon Smoker with Rachel Jordon.
I'm Rachel Jordon. Welcome to another episode of the Hippy Dippy Classic Album Review. I'm joined by acclaimed rock critic Leon Smoker. Leon, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Rach. How are you tonight?
All right, good.
You look cute with all your hair up there and a little body like that.
All right, let's just move on. Okay, so tonight we're reviewing the 5 worst rock and roll songs of all time, according to Leon Smoker.
That's right. That's right.
Are you ready, Leon?
I'm ready. Fire away. Fire away.
All right, so at number 5, we have Any Way You Want It by Journey. All right, Leon, what is wrong with this song?
What do you mean what's wrong with it, man? I mean, it sounds like a Burger King commercial. That's what's wrong with it. And besides that, Steve Perry's voice makes me want to go hunt for earplugs. So.
All right, well, at number 4, we've got Everybody's Working for the Weekend by Loverboy.
Yeah. Now, this was a tough choice right here, man, because I could have picked any Loverboy song to pick in this slot. So I just kind of drew it out of the hat, and I came out with this one. This one sucks as bad as any of the ones they do. Loverboy sucks. That's all I can say about that.
All right, well, moving on. Number 3, Old Time Rock and Roll by Bob Seger.
Now, don't get me wrong now. There's a couple Seger tunes that I really Against the Wind, Hollywood Nights, but this song is horrible, man. Let me tell you something. I've played a lot of gigs in my life, and I've played a lot of weddings, and when you play at a wedding, it never fails, man. Somebody's fat Uncle Fred wants to get up and wants to sing this song, and then by the time you find a key he can sing it in, the couple's already talking about getting a divorce. This one's number 3 for sure.
Number 2, Come Sail Away by Styx.
Oh, man, it just keeps getting better. This song is about aliens coming down to Earth and flying away. So here I got an idea. Next time you get down here, take Styx with you.
And the number 1 worst rock and roll song of all time is I Can't Drive 55 by Sammy Hagar.
Absolutely. I mean, the subject matter to this song is just ridiculous. I mean, why don't you just write a song that says, I can't walk fast in flip-flops, or something like that. I mean, Mr. Hagar, you should have quit when you were ahead, like after the first Montrose record. You ruined Van Halen. Have you ever thought about the fact that they tour all over the country and sell out everywhere, and they don't play one song that you sang on, man? Anyway, Sammy, I hate it for you.
All right, so Leon, how'd you even come up with this list?
Well, what I do, man, is I listen to the tunes, and I find the tunes that I think suck. And then I take them, and then I smoke a bunch of weed, and I listen to them, and then if they still suck, well, then they make the list.
Well, what if the weed you're smoking sucks?
What do you mean?
What I mean is, if you had some better weed, the song might sound a little bit better.
So you're telling me, man, that if I had some better weed, that I might actually like Loverboy?
Well, I don't think they make weed that good. Why don't you just take us out?
All right. Join us next time on the Hippy Dippy Classic Album Review when we will be talking about why Sammy Hagar will never be on this show. Until then, I'm Leon Smoker.
And I'm Rachel Jordon.
See you next time. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Massey from the Chris Massey Show. You know, one of my favorite places to hang out, eat, and play music is the Moon Shadow Tavern in Tucker, Georgia. Moon Shadow Tavern, they got great food, great drink, and great live music 5 nights a week. Right now at the Moon Shadow Saloon, you can go and get 5 appetizers for $5 each. That's right, 5 appetizers for $25. So just go down there and get them. Hell, those appetizers, man, that's a whole meal in itself. All right, we're back. I got an announcement that I would like to make. On Friday, April the 3rd, at the this is at the Star Bar, correct? At the Star Bar, there's going to be a benefit for Cat Peters. Here's some of the bands that are going to be performing: Slim Chance and the Convicts, Rust, Caroline and the Ramblers, and Caroline will be a guest here on the Chris Massey Show coming up in a month or two. The Rain Man, featuring Georgia Satellite, Rick Richards, the Lizardmen, Bark, with Tim and Susan Lee of Tim Lee 3, the Blacktop Rockets. That is Friday, April the 3rd. Here's a poster, very nice poster that was done for it. 7:30 p.m. and admission is $10. So get there early and hang out. That is at the Star Bar. And there will be another benefit later on down the road at Smith's Old Bar that we'll be telling you about at a later date. All right. My guest tonight is someone that I know very well. He mastered my first album, Heartbreak Avenue. That's how we met. Produced Cowboy Heart, and has been working with me for over a year now on my new album, Tuckerville. He's also played drums with me and played drums with a lot of people. He's a great musician, engineer, and producer. Would you please welcome to the Chris Massey Show, Mr. Brian Stevens.
Coming in hot! Coming in hot! Hey, interwebs, how are you? Hi! My mom might be watching. Is that okay?
Well, see, I was going to surprise everybody that you were from Mississippi, but you just gave it away.
Oops.
All right, Brian. Now, Brian, you are from Mississippi, and you originally started playing drums in a marching band.
Yep.
And then you started playing rock and roll. I've seen some of the pictures of Brian. He used to have a hairdo a lot like Leon Smoker.
I used to have hair.
Yeah, back in the day. And so why don't you just give me a little rundown on your playing career, and we'll get into talking about the studio after that.
Oh gosh, first professional career, 18 years old. I made $100 to play a party at a yacht club, and I thought, you know what, I want to do this the rest of my life. Except I hope I can make more than 100. And then from
you got half of it right.
So from there, I've been in Atlanta like 20 years. I really count moving to Atlanta as my first real professional move, even though, for several years before then I made money playing music. Mm-hmm. But ever since then, man, at this point, I think I counted the other day, I've done over 6,000 recording sessions. As a drummer, an engineer, and a producer. I played, if you do the math on this with me for a second, 250 gigs a year times at least 15 of the 20 years.
Okay.
And
that's a bunch.
Yeah, it includes anything from playing the local sports bar to working with Hall of Fame acts like the Drifters, the Platters, the Coasters, the Shirelles. I have an ill-fated gig with Richard Marx. I have all kinds of little things. That,
you were in a band out in Branson, Missouri, and you guys were actually opening up for George Jones out there.
Yes. I did a tour in the early 2000s with a guy who was on CMT, the country music channel, back when country music was country music and not disco music.
Right, yes.
And and so yeah, at the time, this particular singer I was working with, he had probably 6 or 8 videos on CMT at the time. We opened for George Jones, and it was one of the greatest highlights of my entire professional career was standing about 20 feet from George Jones at the Grand Palace in Branson, and I had just gotten a cell phone, and I called my dad while George was doing He Stopped Loving Her Today, maybe, and I just held the phone up. I held it up for like 5 minutes.
Oh, and, very cool.
I'm like, if that's as far as I get in terms of making it and showing my dad, but I'm 20 feet from greatness, then so be it. But luckily, things have gotten better.
Okay. Now you've had Bonzo Tune Studios for how long?
The location I'm in now as Bonzo 2 Studios, 10 years.
10 years. Okay.
But I've been in the studio business now 16 years.
Okay. And basically, this is what butters your bread. This is your job.
Yes.
I've been over there. It's very businesslike at Bonzo Tune Studios.
Unlike this show, I'm here to let off steam.
Well, yeah.
Completely.
Well, you know, we're one step above Wayne's World. That's what we're shooting for anyway. So now, but you also do some session work, and you do some live gigs. You played gig with me before, and you rub shoulders, I know, with people like that are in Rascal Flatts.
Yep.
And my new record, you were able to just, I went over there one day and you said, listen, we're going to get Brandon Bush from Sugarland to play organ and keyboards on this thing. And you just made it happen, and that was kind of cool. Yeah. You also introduced me to Chris Blackwell. Yes. Who I am ever grateful for that. One of the hottest guitar players, one of the best country pickers that I've ever seen.
One of the best guitar players, period.
Yes, he can want to get that rare thing where he can do it in the studio and do it live. And he's a nice guy. And he's a nice guy. And he really knows where to get some good Chinese food as well, too. So, anyway. Now let's talk a little bit about this project that I've been doing with you, the Tuckerville album that is going to be out. Hopefully, if everything works right, we're going to release it on May the 2nd when we have the big show at the Moonshadow Tavern, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. Now, when we went in and did this record, you know, the Cowboy Heart record, I brought the band in, and we did it with the band and everything. And this time, you know, at your suggestion, we did this thing a lot different. Yeah. We did it basically one instrument at a time. Right. We wrote a lot of these songs in the studio, and I was telling my friend Sloan that, you know, when I have my record party, nobody's heard any of these songs. Right. You know, nobody has heard of them. The band has not been playing them live. In fact, the band doesn't even know them yet. Yeah. So well, I got some work to do between now and well, Chris Blackwell is going to be doing that show with me, so he knows them. But we put it together one piece, and I've got to tell you, I've been very impressed with what we've got so far. And so, what are your thoughts on the way the recording's going? And is this how you like to record, or? Well,
you know, there's part of me that lives in the old world of everybody get in a room and let's all play together, but it's not the way records are made, at least in this town, in most towns. I was out in L.A. about 6 or 8 weeks ago. It's not really the way they make most records. In New York, it's not the way they make most records. Nashville's probably the only place where they put a whole bunch of guys in a room and they all play together. But the thing that I like about the process of going one person at a time is that we can craft a record. We can really look for a drum sound that's signature to each song. We can look for a bass sound, guitar tones. We can work on a vocal.
Sure.
And, you know, if you sing it down and everything is note perfect, but it has absolutely no feel, then I can come back and I can go, you know what? It's not compelling enough. I don't feel like I'm hearing your soul. And that's the other part that I like as a producer. It's hard for me when I'm sitting behind the drums and playing to also have those conversations with people. Right. And get them to bear their soul on wax, essentially.
Well, I know we've been working on the vocals on the album now. I've got 8 complete, and it's a real workout. I mean, I go over there and Brian usually has me do the song from start to finish maybe twice. Then we'll go in and we'll do the first verse 6, 7 times, and then a chorus 6, 7 times. And I told you this too. You know, doing that is kind of like with a personal trainer. You know, my favorite line in the studio is when Brian goes, "One more." Just one more, and we're done, and we can move on to something else. Yeah. But I know that it's gonna pay off and everything. So what is on the horizon for Brian? I mean, your studio business is booming, and you can play as much as you want. Yeah. You know, you really could. I mean, if you decided, you know, I'm going to put the studio up for a while and I want to go out on the road with somebody for a while, you could do that. I don't know why in the world you would do that, but you could if you wanted to.
I could.
So so what have you got on the horizon?
Well, that's the wonderful thing about it. The way that I've set my life up, especially within the past 4 or 5 years, I literally can do whatever I want. I can wake up tomorrow and decide I want to do this, that, or the other, and just chase that direction down. Right. So some of the things happening this year, I'm going to play more live gigs, and I've already started to do that locally, but you're going to see more regional and maybe even a few national gigs. Okay. I'm doing some really cool things that sort of put me as an artist. So you're going to see some signature drumsticks. You're going to see some other new music products. Things that were in my head that I prototyped and have used maybe around the studio or on live gigs for a year or so. Okay. Try to make sure they were really cool things. And then it's just a matter of trying to see whatever the next level for me is. TV and film music, more singer-songwriter projects, trying to find even more challenging things to do.
Okay.
And for me, part of that is maybe stepping out and being an artist and putting a product out, like a pair of drumsticks, which is an unheard of thing for someone like me, who normally I'm the guy you don't see.
Right.
People, if you see me, and unless I decide to come on here and blow off some steam for a little while, if you see me, there's usually a problem. You know, I'm the guy that you don't want to see. I want to be. Usually, I'm invisible. Yes. But this year, that's going to change a lot.
Okay. Well, you certainly are not invisible on my new record. You're playing the drums. You've got several songwriting credits on the record. We wrote a lot of those songs right in the studio. You've engineered it. You have produced it. And, you know, and I tell people all this all the time, you know, other than my wife, Brian is the only person that can tell me that stinks, that's not good enough, and you can do better. And it doesn't bother me when you say that. So, Brian Stevens, everybody, we're going to be right back. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Massey from The Chris Massey Show. You know, one of my favorite places to hang out, eat, and play music is the Moonshadow Tavern in Tucker, Georgia. Moonshadow Tavern, they got great food, great drink, and great live music 5 nights a week. Right now at the Moonshadow Saloon, you can go and get 5 appetizers for $5 each. That's right, 5 appetizers for $25. So just go down there and get them. Hell, those appetizers, man, that's a whole meal in itself. Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Renfro. Say you're having a little trouble getting going in the morning. By the afternoon time, you feel like you need a nap. That morning and afternoon cup of coffee just isn't doing it anymore for you. Well, it's time you try Coffee Crank. That's right, Coffee Crank. We take the finest coffee beans from Colombia and mix it with methamphetamine made in someone's basement right here in the good old U.S. of A. Coffee Crank goes down smooth. It's very effective. Hey, man, it's like rocket fuel. But don't take my word for it. Listen to Betty Johnson, a Coffee Crank drinker.
Hi. I'm Betty Johnson. Before I started drinking Coffee Crank, I was the worst employee at work. I was out of shape and so tired when I got home I never wanted to have sex with my husband. He wanted a divorce. But now, after only drinking Coffee Crank for 1 week, I'm the most productive worker in the history of the company. Going to the gym every day is a snap, and every night I come home and bang my husband till he passes out. Coffee Crank has changed my life.
Wow, Betty, that's really impressive. How about some Coffee Crank right now?
Don't mind if I do. You can feel it working instantly.
Now, what about those times you say when you want a great tasting cup of coffee but you don't want to get wound up? Then you need to try Coffee Crank Decaf. We take away the caffeine and the amphetamine and mix in high-grade quality heroin. Just 1 cup of Coffee Crank Decaf and you're going to be feeling mellow jelly and too smooth to move. But what about those times when you don't know which way you want to go? Try this. Pour yourself a half a cup of Coffee Crank and mix in a half a cup of Coffee Crank Decaf. What have you got? It's the Coffee Crank Speedball. That's right. It'll get you going till you find out where it is that you need to be. Coffee Crank, available at your local grocery store. Get some today and crank it up with Coffee Crank. All right, we're back. We're back. Okay, Brian, you're going to get to do the closing of the show with me.
Oh, nice.
I've got to do a little shout out here. My friend Ed Carvell from the show Possum Politics sent me a message that we were unable to show tonight on the show. As you know, Ed has a conservative talk show down in Tampa, Florida. And Ed, you know, I wanted to tell you that you can't hurt my feelings, Ed. You know, I'm a liberal, which basically means I don't really care what conservative people think, to change your mind or to get you to admit that you were wrong. You know, it's just that's just the way it is. I mean, you know, it's you can think what you want. You know, you did mention some stuff though that I must talk about. You know, you said you wanted me to take some responsibility for Barack Obama, so here goes. I'm going to take responsibility for the under 6% unemployment, the stock market being up over 17,000 points, and the 11 million private sector jobs created since 2008. So I will do that. Now, Ed, you also did say that you were offended by gay marriage. Well, let me tell you something, Ed, and this is coming from Mr. Bill O'Reilly, one of your big Kool-Aid drinkers. In the Constitution, it says that all men are created equal under the eyes of the law, which means that we all have the same rights: heterosexuals, gays, Muslims, Hindus, Jews, atheists, whatsoever. So here's the deal. Heterosexuals have the right to get married. So guess what? So do gay people. Now, I know you're going to say that marriage is the union between a man and a woman, but that's in the Bible. It's not in the Constitution. The problem with you people is that you pick things out of the Bible that are convenient and ignore the ones that aren't. Like in the Old Testament, if you got caught working on Sunday, well, they stoned you to death. So I tell you what, Ed, this Sunday when you go to McDonald's to get that tasty Egg McMuffin, when you walk in there, start throwing rocks at the people behind the counter. See how far that gets you. All right. There we go. I feel better already.
I hope so.
All right.
I'm about
All right.
to.
So we're going to close the show here. Give you a little bit because you got to drive home. Al lets me sleep in the studio, so I don't really have to worry about that. Coming up on the Chris Massey Show in April, we will have Peter V. and Glenn Phillips. And before I forgot, for being a what the hell? You know what? You're not getting any rice-a-roni, and you're not getting no damn turtle wax. You know? Like I always say, always love your woman, take life as it comes, and when you get the chance, have too much fun. We'll see you next time.